It was just another Alaskan night at Chillkoot Charlie's bar, where Gary Sloan played harmonica like some wild northern star. The door burst open with the snow, and in walked something rare, a man in buckskins, white Stetson hat, with waist-long golden hair. He looked like something from a dream, the Wrangell Kid, they said, looking for a lady brave enough to share his winter bed. He came around, and he asked me straight, "No beer or shot in hand? Will you come with me to the mountains and winter in that land?" I was 19, I knew nothing, but something in me knew, and I said yes without hesitation, and I'm glad I saw it through. We caught Lynn Ellis out of Glen Allen, his plane packed to the brim, horse grain for 7 Canadians, and grub boxes filled to the rim. He flew us to the Tana-Chatina, where Frank Peace's cabin stood, built in the 1900s, sod-roofed and low, 10 by 13 feet of good. 6 inches down into the frozen ground, that cabin held the cold. A 15-gallon barrel stove inside, worth more than mountain gold. The kid brought Brad, his tall friend, 6'2" and keen. But on the second horse delivery, we caught him in between. The drama passed, the tall man left. He knew the winter's cost. When there's one moose between through souls, one mouth is one too lost. The kid walked out behind the cabin, raised his rifle true, and dropped a moose right where it stood. That moose would see us through. We hung it up and quartered it, our lifeline through the snow. The Wrangell Mountains tested us, but we weren't meant to go. The rule was simple, and it was ironclad. When sun came up, out the door. When the sun went down, back inside. That was the winter's law. I bucked the wood from dawn to dusk, 3 months of frozen days, while the kid ran his trap lines through the mountain's frozen maze. By candlelight we read at night, the frontiersman in hand, and studied geological surveys of that wild and frozen land. He called for me once with knowing eyes, a title earned and true, the Bannock Queen of the Wrangell Mountains, and the name forever grew. One evening, by the candlelight, he spread a survey map and pointed to some beaver ponds 5 frozen miles out back. I packed the Bannock, he packed the fish. We set out through the snow, breaking trail through twists and turns where only trappers go. We made our camp before we reached, slept sound beneath the stars, but morning brought a terror worse than grisly teeth or scars. The snow was melting all around, 15 feet, pack turned soft. Each step we sank, each breath a fight, our snowshoes barely aloft, 'cause my rawhide lashing snapped in 2. Halfway back to home, I walked toes up on one right foot through miles of melting loam. But we made it back, we always did, the cabin waiting there. The Wrangell Mountains test you hard, and we survived with a scare. One cold day we heard the sound of dogs across the snow. We ran the mile down to the river to see the team below. Kelly and Bonnie, husband and wife, crossed the wide Chatina ice, their dog team barking, coming close. First humans, oh how nice. In that river valley, silent cold, you could hear them from miles away. The first voices besides our own in months of frozen days. Kelly smiled and shook his head. Lynn flew, you kids out here? A couple grub boxes, said you wouldn't last. We came to see, my dear. But there was the moose, spag on the stove, and wood stacked into the gills. The 7-horse bells rang across the Wrangell hills. Lynn said you wouldn't make it. Kelly laughed and shook his hand. But the Bannock Queen and the Wrangell Kid had conquered that frozen land. By March, the kid was ready, the winter taking toll. I would have stayed forever if not for spring bear patrol. We cleared the ice from the airstrip, but Lynn came circling down. He looked and shook his head and said, that strip won't hold the ground. He landed on the river instead, 3 inches of water below. We grabbed the first things we could reach and loaded up to go. The Wrangell Mountains disappeared below Lynn Ellis's wing. The winter we survived together, a song we'd always sing. Mike, you asked me on your show to share our winter's tale, but I had no microphone back then to let the memory sail. So here it is, the story whole, in Robert's service verse, the podcast we never made, for better or for worse. The Wrangell Kid and the Bannock Queen, Frank Peace's cabin cold, a winter that we barely made, and a friendship made of gold. For Michael McCann, the Wrangell Kid, from the Bannock Queen of the Wrangell Mountains, written in the memory of the winter of 1979.